What's good? It's Extreme Caution. Today I'm going to be going on my official AEW All-In predictions. I'm going to be going over every match on the card, what I think of every match, what I think of the bill, what I could think could happen after each and every match. If you like daily wrestling content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to go and jump straight into the predictions. We're officially going to start off with is the men's Gauntlet match. Winner of this gets a contract to cash in anytime for a AEW World Championship opportunity. This is very interesting. I really don't know who. I think it's really only between two people who can actually win this and actually be somewhat believable in the world championship scene. And this can really play out in a lot of ways depending on who is the world champion after All In, whether it's Hangman, whether it's Moxley. So this could go two ways. I could see MJF winning it to tell the story of the Hurt Syndicate, but also give Hangman, because I'm assuming that if you're going to have MJF be the one with the contract, I'm assuming Hangman would probably win, so that way Hangman would have a heel that's constantly, lurking in the shadows behind him, ready to cash in. Or you could potentially have Darby Allin return and have him win, have him cash in either on the same night as All In or down the road against Jon Moxley. You can go one of those directions. I'm going to go with MGF here. I'm not very confident in that selection at all due to MGF's booking for the past few months. Ever since MJF returned from his injury, I have not been confident in his booking at all, outside of the Will Ospreay feud. So I don't know what their plans is with MJF, especially with this whole Hurt Syndicate thing. I'm not feeling the most confident in that, but if there is anybody else, I would assume it probably would be Darby Allin making his return. We just don't know the status of Darby Allin since climbing Mount Everest, but it really wouldn't shock me if they had Darby Allin win, then cash in the same night, and he is the AEW World. That's really not the out of the realm of possibility. I could definitely see that happen. I'm going with MJF here, but I'm not that confident in MJF winning. But I'm going with MJF here only because I'm going to assume Heyman might win, even though I am not confident in that pick at all either. But I'm going with MJF winning the men's Casino Gauntlet match. Now we get to the women's Casino Gauntlet match. This one really doesn't matter if I'm being honest, because unlike the men, I could actually see the men in the match actually cashing in successfully. I don't see no woman cashing in successfully because AEW, Tony Khan has proven time and time again that if you're not Mercedes, you're not Tony Storm, he does not care about you. He does not. And the only woman that they have kind of have been building is Megan Bain, but she's been on Collision. So I have little to no faith that whoever wins this is going to cash in successfully on Tony Storm or Mercedes. And even if they do, it's going to be a very long time before they do. So I'm going with Megan Bain here because that's the only woman they've been building up. They've been kind of building up Chris Statlander. They've been kind of teasing her with the Death Riders, but I do not want to see that. And why would they turn Chris Statlander heel again? That just makes no sense. She just came off a heel turn. Now she's going to go back. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going with Megan Bain here. I feel like she's really the only option here, to be honest. Maybe Mina Shirakawa, but yeah, I'm going with Megan Bain here, but I have no confidence that whoever wins this is going to do anything with it. Now we get Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole for the TNT Championship. I don't really know anything about this feud. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not watch Collision, so I don't even know why they're feuding. I know they've been feuding for a while now, mainly with the Don Callis family. This could go either way because I could see both factions interfering because you have Kyle Fletcher with the Don Callis family, and then you have the Paragon with Adam Cole. So this could go either way. I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher here. I feel like he's the one that needs the victory. Now, the TNT Championship doesn't mean anything at all. It really doesn't mean anything. But this can probably help Kyle Fletcher. It can help him look somewhat more credible. Yeah, I don't really have much to really say about this match because I don't even know why they're feuding. But because I don't watch Collisions and I'm not going to. But the match should be an absolute banger. These two are great in the ring, especially Kyle Fletcher. So I'm excited for the in-ring quality of the match, but the actual match itself and the story, not so much. But the in-ring quality should be really good. Now we get this six-man tag match between the Hurt Syndicate, Jet Speed, and the Patriarchy. I understand why Jet Speed and Hurt Syndicate. I understand that. Don't understand why the Patriarchy got added to this match. I don't even know how they got added to this match, to be honest. That kind of threw me off guard because I know Jet Speed and the Hurt Syndicate, I know they've been feuding for like a good 2 to 3 weeks. Patriarchy just came out of nowhere. The Hurt Syndicate are retaining these titles. The only way the Hurt Syndicate are ever going to lose the tag titles is if MGF cost them. That's the only way they're losing these tag titles. Until MGF decides that he wants to betray them, that's when they're going to lose these titles. That's really it. I'm not even going to go behind the story because it really isn't a story. It's just Jet Speed think they can overcome the odds, and we know they won't. And the Hurt Syndicate is going to retain. That's your story. Like, it's really that simple. I'm not going to try to go this over in depth analysis. I'm not going to stress this out more than it needs to. The Hurt Syndicate are retaining. Now we get Kenny Omega versus Okada for the Unified Championship, the unification match between the Continental Championship and the International Championship. Um, this build has been solid. Their history goes all the way back to their New Japan days of them having multiple matches there. I don't even know how many matches they had in New Japan. I think like 3 or 4. Um, the in-ring work should be really good. The build has been decent. Very interested to see how this plays out. I think the only option here is Kenny Omega. I don't see a reason why Okada should win here. And I am hoping that this match steals the show, and I hoping this match is a banger because I hear a lot of hype around Kenny Omega and Okada. I understand the Kenny Omega hype. Okada, I'm still trying to get on that hype train with his in-ring ability, and I haven't seen it yet in AEW. Not that he's a bad wrestler by any means, but I'm not seeing the in-ring ability that people hype him up to be. Now I heard that, he's older now and, his in-ring style and all that. I get all that, but still, now where we go from here, I don't really know where we go from here because the only thing is I hope that they actually treat the championship like a good secondary championship, like a great mid-card title should be, but I have no faith because if you're not the world champion, your booking is not really that good if you're not the world champion. Well, outside of being Mercedes Moné with the TBS championship. So I don't know where we go from here. I'm assuming this is their last and final match because Kenny Omega, with his situation, I'm assuming he's going to end of his career as probably Okada as well. So I'm assuming this is probably their last final match that they're ever going to have. So I hope it's a banger. I hope it's a banger match, which I'm assuming is going to be a banger match when you have these two guys in the ring. The main thing is what they're going to do with the championship afterwards, because I'm glad that they're getting rid of the Continental Championship and they're just merging these two because we don't need no more championships in AEW. So very interested to see how they book this championship go afterwards. Now we get Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné for the AEW World Championship. This feud has been very lackluster for the most part, but the go home show was really good. This story is basically who can prove who's the best. You have Mercedes Moné collecting all of these belts. You have Toni Storm, who's the face of AEW in terms of women's wrestling in AEW. This is very interesting. The fact that they have to bury the entire women's division just to get this match is ridiculous. This match really benefits nobody. It really does no wonders for nobody. But if I had to pick, it's Mercedes. Mercedes is winning. I actually feel kind of confident. I could see Toni Storm winning due to her being the face, but I feel pretty confident Mercedes winning because until I see Mercedes Moné lose, I'm not picking against her. I just can't. I can't pick against someone that doesn't lose. I just can't. I just can't see Mercedes losing. It makes the most sense as well because at least with Mercedes, this kind of, I wouldn't say elevates her, but it does make her the top woman in AEW. Toni Storm does not need this victory. Toni Storm just beats another person, where Mercedes, it elevates her as the official number one woman because everyone looks at Toni Storm as the number one, while Mercedes is more so the number two or eventually would be the number one. Where if she beats Toni Storm, she's officially the number one woman in AEW. So I think it benefits her more, even though I don't think neither this match should be happening to begin with. But this only benefits Mercedes if she wins. This does nothing for Toni Storm. Now, what happened afterwards is really the question because I don't know where you go from there because, like I said, AEW haven't built any other women, which is why this match shouldn't really be happening. And plus, if Toni Storm wins, why did you build up Mercedes to go undefeated just for her to lose to the biggest star when you could have used that to build a new star, in my opinion? But I'm going with Mercedes Moné, but it can be Toni Storm, but I think Mercedes Moné will become your new AEW World Champion. Now we get the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. This match is to determine whether or not the Young Bucks are EVPs, because if the Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland win, they are removed of their EVP ship. But if the Young Bucks win, then Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay cannot fight for the world title for 1 year. This is very interesting because if the Young Bucks win, I would assume that Jon Moxley would win as well. But if Will and Swerve win, then I think Hangman would win. So this can go either way. And also, too, this is very interesting because if you have Hangman and Swerve lose, they're out of the world title picture for 1 year. That's very interesting. And I wonder how they will even book that because if Jon Moxley retains, who goes after him? Is it just going to be Hangman because or MJF eventually? Because that's going to be very interesting. Because I'm assuming that Babyface is going to have to dethrone Moxley, or even if Hangman still wins the title, it's like you have Swerve and Will Ospreay not going after Hangman, so that creates a very interesting dynamic. And then I can easily see Swerve Strickland potentially turning heel afterwards due to Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay was the one that wanted this stipulation, not Swerve. So I could see Swerve turning on Will Ospreay, and that could be your feud for the next year. That could go a lot of ways. Or you could go with the baby faces, winning, taking the power away from the Young Bucks, and then eventually Heyman can win as well. This is very interesting. But I'm going to go with Will and Swerve because I just don't think Tony Khan is going to pull that off where he's going to have Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay out of the world title scene for a complete year. They can pull it off with great. They can definitely pull it off. Now, do I feel confident in pulling it off? Absolutely not, which is why I'm going with Will and Swerve. But I could definitely see the Young Bucks winning this match and having Will and Swerve have a feud, which I think could be very great. I think that could be a really great feud. But I think Will and Swerve will pick up the victory, remove the EVP ship from the Young Bucks, and them do whatever afterwards, eventually going after the world title. Now we get the main event, Moxley versus Heyman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. I, I'm not even going to go in depth on the story. I really don't care at this point. Heyman needs to win. I don't care how you do it. He needs to win. I don't care if he cheats. Well, there's really no cheating. It's a Texas death match, so there is no cheating. I don't care how he wins. I don't care if this is a squash match. Heyman needs to win. That's it. Or Darby Allin returns with the Casino Gauntlet match and he cashes in that night. I don't care how they do this. Long as Moxley isn't champion by the end of this, I'm happy. That's all I care about. Heyman needs to win, and that's it. I cannot go through more of Jon Moxley. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. I am sick of Moxley as champion. It needs to end now. Hangman needs to win now, which is why I'm picking Swerve and Ospreay to win that match. Because if the Young Bucks win, then I have zero confidence in Hangman winning this match. But Heyman needs to win. You could tell a story with him afterwards. You could easily have Will Ospreay go after him. You could have Swerve Strickland go after him. You could have MJF go after him. Like you have more to tell with in my opinion, with Hangman. Because with Moxley, the only person you have going after him is really Hangman and Darby Allin. Or you may do MJF, but he's a heel, so I don't know how that dynamic works. But Heyman needs to win. That's my overall predictions and overall views of AEW All In. You guys let me know your overall predictions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.